Today I want to talk about bouncing back and moving on when plans don't turn out the way that you envisioned, especially as a leader in the household when your decisions have such an impact on the lives of your family. A few years back, we decided to sell our house and to move into a low-income neighborhood. And the plan was to be a light for God and to make an impact in the lives of others. What we didn't plan on was having thousands of dollars in home repairs and having bullets fly so close to the home. So I want to share that experience with you and 3 things I learned about decision making and bouncing back when things don't go your way. Firstly, your decisions will impact your family. One Sunday morning, I was awakened by a loud argument outside the house. That argument escalated into gunshots. My wife tells me to go call the police, but I run downstairs to check on the kids because they're the closest to the gunshots. I move the kids to safety. The police come on the scene a few minutes later and stabilize the situation. Thankfully, nobody got injured. But later that day, I went to go check on my daughter, and she's up in her room putting toys in the windowsill. And I ask her, "What are you doing?" She says, "It's to block the bullets." This is not something I want to hear from my 8-year-old daughter as a father. And this situation is a good example of how our decisions as leaders have an impact on the ones that we love. So being a leader in your home is a great privilege, but it's also a great responsibility and weight to protect the ones that are entrusted to you. This was a great reminder for me, and we ended up relocating within 6 months of this event. First tip to bounce back from past decisions: take ownership. I should have known we were in for a crazy ride with this house when my wife called me at work and told me that the ceiling fan had fallen out the ceiling. So I come home and I see the ceiling fan just hanging from the ceiling by one little thread, almost touching the floor. $50,000 in house repairs later, people were telling us, well, the home inspector should have caught those issues. The realtor shouldn't have showed you that house. The seller shouldn't have been selling that house in the first place. And all that could be true. And honestly, yeah, I had to deal with some anger issues because I felt like people disrespected us in the process. But when I focus on others, it just keeps me bitter. It doesn't help me to move forward. In reality, I needed to grow in my experience. I needed to grow in my decision making and my discernment and how I trust people. Excuses, blaming others, that's not going to get you unstuck and move you forward. But taking ownership of what you can control and what you can do can allow you to move on and get better in the future. And finally, press on. Don't look back. Now, it's been almost 2 years since we pivoted and relocated again, but we're still paying monthly payments on some home repairs from 2 years ago. And when negative consequences like that last that long, it can be easy to look back on those decisions with regret. It can be easy to look back and play the shoulda, woulda, coulda game, or to say that, how could I have been so stupid to make that decision? But that approach does not help you to bounce back and move forward. I like how Paul puts it in Philippians chapter 3, where he says, "One thing I do, I forget what lies behind and I strain on to what lies ahead." And I just think we as leaders have so much to look forward to. We can't afford to let past decisions paralyze us, make us stuck, because our families are depending on us to move forward. So if you look back on those decisions, look back to capture lessons learned. Don't look back and let those decisions define you, especially when things don't go as planned. And those are my 3 reflections on the decision that I made that didn't turn out the way that I expected. It was painful at the time, but as I look back on that experience, I can see how we grew and I can pass that knowledge on towards others. That's the way I plan on looking at it, and that's the way I was able to bounce back. All right, till next time.